That first exercise that baseball players can use to increase their full body strength is going to be a trap bar deadlift. Now, if you can hit this for, let's say, 5 sets of 5 and then 1 drop set of 10 where you're just hitting that touch and go, this is going to develop your back strength, your core stability, and also your hip extension, okay? That's where we're gonna see nice functionality from the trunk into the hips. That's gonna help you become more explosive. When we're thinking about baseball strength and the exercises that we're gonna provide, we've gotta look at exit velocity, okay? How can we improve exit velocity? How can we improve speed on the field? How can we improve speed while we're running the bases? How can we improve shoulder stability? How can we improve our hip capabilities? This is the lens that we're thinking through when we're trying to develop that full body strength specifically for baseball. So after we think about that trap bar deadlift, the next thing that we get into, okay, and this is typically where we'll start most of our baseball workouts, okay, so what we want to look at is take another athlete like Bryce Harper, okay, him hitting this big front squat or him hitting his big power cleans. These are movement patterns that will lead to greater rates of coordination. If we can coordinate the hips rapidly with explosiveness, that's going to enhance your exit velocity. It's also going to help you if you're out in the field and you need to track a ball very rapidly. If you're more coordinated, you can see where the ball's going, and now you can communicate with your body based off of your speed capability. How do we track this to this certain point on the field? So use a power snatch, use a power clean to enhance that overall full body coordination at high speeds. So that next exercise that we can do, okay, so we did the trap bar deadlifts and then we gave you the power clean or the power snatches. Also, I didn't even mention when you're doing those power snatches, that's gonna help with shoulder stability. Now, the next lift that I'm gonna provide, this is gonna be 2 movements, really. The first one is going to be a simple neutral grip pull-up, and I'm gonna demonstrate this shortly. But one thing I'm gonna challenge all of you baseball players on is please, for the love of God.
No, God, please, no!
Get to the point of where you can do 10 freaking dead hang pull-ups. Literally, it's not that hard. I'm 40 years old, fat and old, and I can do 10 dead hang pull-ups. And all I hear is, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts. And then we have baseball players come in and we'll test them and they can only do 3 or 4 pull-ups. If we're gonna be throwing at high speeds and we want to have that core stability, we need to be able to do pull-ups. It's gonna strengthen our lats, it's gonna strengthen our shoulder girdle. So what we can do here is to make sure that if we're doing a neutral grip pull-up, it's a little bit easier on our shoulders. I'm gonna get here, okay, and I'm gonna pause, come back up. Pause, come up. Pause, come up. Pause, come up, okay? So if we get nice and deep, that's gonna help strengthen that shoulder stability. Now, the next thing that we can do once we get really good at doing pull-ups is we can make it a full body lift, okay? And the one thing that I like to do is I will either put a plate on my calves or on my quads. And this is freaking hard, okay? So if you do this, we're gonna start with a 5K plate. And I'm just gonna do like 3 reps. But what ends up happening is now I have to hold my trunk stable, okay? So I'm gonna be flexing my core, as you guys like to refer to this. And while you're doing that, you're coordinating your upper body. So what ends up occurring is you have this more stable shoulder, and while you're using your trunk in conjunction with your shoulder, you can apply more force and you're able to have more control with other different movements, okay? So this transfers really well to baseball. Now I'm gonna demonstrate this. Earl's gonna bring me that plate. I'm gonna hang, and we'll bust out like 3. Oh, one more. Oh, and I can feel that right in my abs while I'm hitting that out. So use that 4 to 5 sets once or twice a week. That's a great exercise to improve that total body strength for baseball. Okay, we're gonna get into that last exercise for total body strength for baseball. But before we do that, if you guys need help with your strength training, you're sort of lost. As baseball players, you usually don't know what to do. So you'll just do a bunch of band stuff, maybe some push-ups and some long toss, and that's about it. But if you do the right strength training, you can lead to drastic improvements. You can turn on the ball a little bit quicker, you can track a ball a lot faster, and you can run much faster. So if you need help with your strength training, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. Download Peak Strength. You'll get 5 free days of training, 5 free workouts, and select baseball. Make sure you put in, I want to train for baseball, okay? And that's going to give you a program that's going to help you become a better baseball player. Now, the last exercise is one of my favorites for a baseball player because it's going to lead to trunk development, shoulder stability, because we're going to hold an isometric position with the shoulders, and hip strengthening. It's going to improve your hip mobility, it's going to improve your ankle stability, and it's just going to lead to tremendous amounts of total body strength for baseball. So we're going to get into this position here. We're going to do a walking lunge with a plate. So we almost want to go to the point where our back knee is almost on the ground. Now notice, my back knee is on the ground. A lot of dads, yes dads, I'm calling you out, will say, don't touch your knee to the ground when you're doing lunges. First off, it's not that bad to do this as long as we're not slamming the knee into the ground. Second of all, it's gonna help with younger athletes to find that target point, okay? So they're gonna get into this position and they can use this almost as like a target point, okay? And then as they get more athletic and they get stronger, they don't need to drop the knee to the ground. Instead, they can get to the point where they're about an inch above the ground and use that to improve and strengthen that entire posterior chain. So do this 4 sets of 10 to each side. Hold like a 25-pound plate or a 10K plate, anything along those lines. Make sure you head over to peakstrength.app. Download our app today. Start to do that strength training specific for baseball, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.